Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I'm not sure how I got here, but I'm here right now.
Did you come by some form of vehicle?
I did,
All right.
but I literally signed up 30 minutes before this.
All right, so you're following your
I
synchronicity?
just jumped in my car and followed my synchronicity.
All right,
and
then
now-
that's how you got here.
And I'm standing here in front
Yes,
of you.
you are.
So I'm in the process, or I have been in the process, of letting go
Yes.
of everything that is familiar to me.
Everything?
Well, almost.
All right.
And I just let go of a 25-year career.
Oh, all right, congratulations.
Yeah.
Are you in a position to know that whatever it is you act on that is representative of your passion can support you in life?
Yes.
All right.
I definitely live in full faith with that.
It's not about faith, really. I understand what you mean by that, but it's simply about understanding how things work. Yes?
I feel
It's
like
knowledge. It's knowingness. It's beyond faith. It's knowingness. Yes?
yes.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
so now what?
Yeah. Now what?
Well, what do you want to do? What excites you more than anything else at this particular moment?
Well, that's what I've been following, and that's how I ended up here.
All right. All right. Then you will keep doing that, we assume?
Yes.
All right. So what else do you need to discuss?
Well, some things that have been happening have been kind of strange. During meditations recently, I keep hearing,
Yes. Well, strange is not necessarily negative, yes?
no, it's neutral until it's defined. I don't need strange. But I keep hearing Athena. I am Athena.
All right.
I am Athena over and over.
All right. Well, you're connecting to an archetypal level of collective consciousness that somehow reflects to you some of the themes of your frequency, some of the themes of your life. So if you look up what the symbolism is of that archetypal representation of the collective consciousness, it may give you some insight as to why you are plugging into that particular frequency and downloading information from it to help you on your path.
Okay.
Yes?
I've also been weirdly talking in tongues, which is kind of unusual. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. It just keeps coming through.
That's all right. You are simply tapping into the fact that you are connected to many different kinds of levels of dimensions and realities and expressions of consciousness and intelligence. And you're sorting things out within yourself as to where you want to land in terms of how best to express your true self. That's usually what that's for. It's like going here, there, don't really know, haven't really crystallized what I'm saying, who I am, how I want to express myself. So it comes out in all these different ways until you find your language. And that means your language in the biggest sense, the way you need to communicate to be more who you are. That's usually what that process is for.
So to serve the entirety of the whole,
Yes. You have to just be yourself.
I have to fully express myself clearly
Yes.
as my true self.
Yes.
And then that is my absolute service to the entirety of the whole.
Absolutely, because how can you help anyone if you're not yourself?
Of course.
Therefore, as I said earlier, you become the puzzle piece you actually truly are, and then you automatically fit in the big picture. And that's what supports the big picture and allows you to experience how the big picture supports you as the piece of the big picture. It works in both directions. It's this and that. It's a whole system. It's a whole idea. Yes?
Yes, as nature intended. Yes. As my nature intended.
You are nature.
Yes. Yeah.
You are God. You are all that is. You are a piece of it. There is nothing but God to make anything from. There is nothing but all that is. Everything is a reflection of all that is. It is all that is. But it allows you to be the you are as a reflection of all that is. You are all that is experiencing itself as a piece of itself. You are the eyes of God, all of you, all of us, everything. Every experience is a reflection of all that is, God, Goddess, all that is, of itself, because there's nothing else but the one.
Yes.
Yes? So being yourself more fully allows, in a sense, if you want to put this poetically, God to see more clearly through your eyes, to experience who it is as you. This is a beautiful dance. Yes?
It is. Full resonance.
It is
with
the
that.
dance of creation. Does this help?
It does. Thank you. Is there anything else that I should know that you'd like to share with me right now?
If there was, I would have shared it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And a you good day.
So being Father's Day, I guess I want to ask a father-related question.
All right, happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Father to be. So my wife and I are expecting a son.
All right.
And the first question I have is related to at what point does consciousness actually enter the baby while it's in the womb?
Well, the way you're asking that question isn't exactly accurate.
Okay.
Because remember, everything is made of consciousness, no matter what it is. I understand what you're asking, but the idea is more, you're asking, when does that particular consciousness focus itself in such a way that it considers itself to be expressing its intelligence in a physical way, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
Well, it comes and goes in a sense. It dips its toe in, it feels things out, it may recede, it may come back, it goes back and forth quite often. In fact, even after birth, the consciousness of a young child can kind of expand and contract, expand to spirit, contract to physicality, expand to spirit, contract to physicality. You say come and go, come and go. It's not really coming and going. It's just expanding its focus, narrowing its focus, expanding its focus, narrowing its focus. This can happen even for the first 3 or 4 years of life. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're asking the question, when is it capable of expressing consciousness through the actual physical form in a way that you understand as the expression of intelligence? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
49 days.
Wow. Early on.
Yes.
So that then along that
Because
line,
at that point, the structures then exist within the embryo that allows for the expression of consciousness in the way you understand it, in the way that it needs to express itself as a physical being. Then it's capable of actually expressing the idea of awareness in physical terms. Until that time, there is no structure in the embryonic brain that allows that expression to actually happen in physical terms. But it takes 49 days for that structure to be formed. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
All right.
So while the baby's been developing, what are ways that we can support and nurture the growth of the child, both, well, in all ways, spiritually, energetically, mentally, emotionally?
Well, again, obviously, first and foremost, by being your true selves, because then the child is being born to parents that are willing to be their true selves, which then act as living examples for the child and how they can be their true selves as well. That's first and foremost, yes?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
So then the rest is up to your own imagination. When you are more your true self, you will have the inspirations and the ideas of what to do that would benefit all of you as a family. Yes?
Yes.
When the child then comes into physical reality, as we have said previously, then it comes into the idea of, quote unquote, educating the child, helping them, guiding them, acclimating them to the concepts of physical reality and your societies specifically. Then it's about making sure that you teach them that they are self-empowered beings, as powerful as they need to be to manifest whatever they truly need in life without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to do so. Allowing them to find what their passion in life is, and anything that you believe is important for them to understand about physical reality, as the parents, as the teachers, creating with your imaginations a safe space in which they can explore consequences of choices, so that when they then finally get out into the world, they will understand that their consequences do exist for the choices that they make, and they will then make more constructive choices because you've given them the opportunity to practice understanding the connections between the choices they make and the consequences that follow in physical terms. Also, whatever else that you believe they need to know to get along in your world, it would be best again to explore what it is that excites them the most, and then whatever you believe they really need to learn, adapt the lesson to their excitement don't try to shove their excitement into the lesson. Do you understand?
Yeah.
By creating interactive scenarios that seem very real for them, you will see very clearly what path they choose to follow. Children who then are allowed to adapt the lessons to their excitement will be eager to learn because you're teaching them how to learn in a way that aligns with who they truly are and uses their talents, their specific gifts, bringing them to bear to absorb information. The bottom line, in a sense, about the idea of teaching information that you believe is important to teach and allowing them to retain that information is telling them stories. Story structure is the way all of you absorb information the best and retain it for the longest. That's why stories have existed on your planet for thousands upon thousands of years. Story structure is not something that you invented. Story structure is something you discovered within your consciousness, within your psyche. It's a specific pattern of consciousness and self-reflectivity that when you tell a story in a certain way with a certain kind of information that hits those story structure points, it resonates within you. It strikes a chord within you. And that allows the information to stick because they're willing to absorb it because you've hit that chord. So telling stories is very important. So tell stories that are stories of empowerment. Stories can contain the idea of what you call conflict, or at least the idea of what's going on between positive and negative belief systems, as long as they also contain the idea of transforming those things from negative to positive. Then the child will retain a very powerful instruction of how to do that in life.
Great.
That's what we would suggest to you.
Okay.
Does this help?
Yes, definitely. From fifth density, how do you look at and view the role of fathership or fatherhood?
Well, I'm not in fifth densities.
Oh, I thought you were.
We are transitioning.
Transitioning too.
But
Okay.
remember that fifth density is synonymous with what you call spirit.
Right.
Therefore, in that sense, it's not quite the same kind of an experience in non-physical reality as it is in physical reality, except the basic premise that it's about, in a sense, creating what I call that space, that provision of space in which people can grow and learn and become themselves. That can translate in physical terms. You usually think, I know this is changing and it's supposed to change and become more balanced, but I know that classically you usually look at the idea of the masculine energy as the provider. You understand?
Right.
Now, all of you have that energy. All of you have the masculine, all of you have the feminine. It's about finding the balance within and empowering everyone in an equal way. But the idea of that energy in general, that archetypal energy, is to provide that space in which something can then be nurtured by the feminine energy, so it gets both of those energies, the provider and the nurturer, and creates that safe, balanced space in which the child can grow in strength and balance and contain both of those energies and expressions of those energies themselves. So that's the spiritual view of the energy.
Yeah, that's great.
Does that help?
Definitely.
Yes.
I'd like to breach one more topic, if I may.
Yes.
So I work with a lot of people that have had head injuries,
Oh, how
concussions.
exciting.
Not for them.
You don't know that for a fact.
You're right. It's very challenging. But one thing that I find is people who have had concussions, they tend to hit their heads a lot, and they just attract bumping their head into headboards and someone else's head and corners way more than anyone else would.
They're trying to get something through to themselves that they're not getting. They are stubbornly refusing to pay attention, so they're beating their heads against the wall over and over again until they get the point, till they let it in.
But it's
Now, that's not the case all the time.
Okay.
Understand, I'm giving you a generalization.
Right.
You have to take everything like this on a case-by-case, person-by-person basis to know what the reason is that they may specifically be doing that. Nevertheless, in general, on average, it's usually a representation that someone is refusing to pay attention. They're afraid to pay attention of something that they really need to pay attention to, And therefore, they're actually trying to disorient themselves, realign their perspective. They're trying to, in a sense, beat the idea into themselves and pay attention to something that they are refusing and resisting to pay attention to, in general. So, if you can figure out what that is with them and work with them that way and get them to really investigate some of their fear-based beliefs, you may actually help alleviate that behavior.
Right, that repetitive head banging.
Yes.
Okay.
What is it you're trying to get through your thick skull? To put it that way.
Right.
What is it you're trying to get here? What are you afraid to get? That's usually the basis of it. What are you afraid will happen if you suddenly became your true being?
Right. Right.
It's that resistance that usually causes it to get that extreme because you're trying to get your own attention.
Mm-hmm.
Again, generally.
Right. Right.
Does this help?
Yes, with healing head injuries, though, and this
That's another subject.
no, not so much. I'm not going to go into healing them so much, but I've heard you talk about healing modalities and healers, and that it's never actually the modality or the healer or the medicine that actually heals.
No, the person heals themselves by matching the vibration the healer or medicine is giving off that represents the healed state. If the person decides to align with that particular frequency representing the healed state, they will heal themselves.
So then why is it with the modality that I use, head injuries tend to respond, very quickly? What is it about their attraction to this modality that allows them to align with that frequency?
It's the permission slip that works best for some of their belief systems. Yes?
Okay.
Or doesn't.
Yeah.
Again, many people will come to a healer to prove they can't be healed. Therefore, you've given them what they asked for. All you need to do is do your job. It's none of your business what they do with what you give them. That's not your job. Your job is to provide the vibration that represents the opportunity to heal themselves. What they do with that, none of your business.
Right.
Yes?
Great. Thank
You
you very
don't
much.
measure your success by how many people are willing to heal themselves. You measure your success by being yourself as best as you possibly can, knowing there must be a reason they came to you, even if it's not the reason that they think or you think. But they will get something out of it somewhere down the line. Remember, everyone is an infinite, eternal being. What's your hurry?
Great. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. And good day to you.
Good day to you. Thank you. Okay, I had a question. It seems pretty crazy now that I'm up here.
Crazy questions are the ones we love.
All right. When I was really young, I was playing.
You mean like yesterday?
Definitely not yesterday. I was in 3rd, 4th grade somewhere.
Yes.
And I was playing in the sandbox.
Yes.
And I saw what I feel like a little flying saucer. It was like really small, like the size of like a sequin on like a garment, that type of stuff.
All right, yes.
And then I looked up and I put my hands up for some reason. And then I saw it fly into my fingernail.
Yes.
And then my finger started hurting really bad, but I can't remember if it was just if I'm really remembering it or if...
Well, in a sense, it's a connection. It's an information and energy download. In a sense, it's kind of like information to help orient you at that time, to help you remember more of who you truly are, what your path is in life, the themes you've chosen to explore. It's not literally what you would call a flying saucer, but the idea of a mote of information delivered to you so that you can absorb it, allow yourself to process it, allow it to be expanding within your consciousness, applying it in your reality. In many ways, those kinds of deliveries, those kinds of information downloads have brought you to where you are today. In other words, you already knew that you would be accessing those kinds of things, that those kinds of gifts would be given to you as they're given to all of you, to bring you to this conversation and beyond so that you can see the continuity of the path you've created in that way. But it also lets you know you always have help. There are always those watching. There are always those guiding. There are always those willing to help give you what you need. It's up to you, of course, to take it in and absorb it. It's your choice. But it's no more mysterious than that and not really crazy at all. Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Thank you.
And the fact that it was delivered to you while you were playing in the sandbox gives you an understanding that your entire world is a sandbox that you can play in. And if you play more, you are more capable of being sensitive to receiving those kinds of help from other levels, other beings, other guides, and creation itself. So allow yourself to know that your finger is on the pulse and that you can reach out at any time and know that someone is always reaching back. Yes?
Thank you.
Does this help you?
Yes, it does.
Anything else?
No, that'll be all.
All right, thank you so very much.
Hey, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I love that. The measure of your success is by being you as much as you possibly can.
Yes.
That just feels so good. Thank you.
Yes, it does.
I have a question. The last event that I was at, the hybrid races, I had an experience where I felt like somebody else was in my body. It almost lasted.
Nope.
Okay.
That's not possible.
So,
You fill you up.
okay.
There is no room for anyone in you but you. What you're experiencing is a shift in your own frequency that allows you to experience yourself as a different being
Okay.
than you are used to experiencing yourself as.
Okay.
It's still you, it's just a different expression of you, a different level of you. It's another aspect of you.
Okay. So I was, I got really tired. I had to take a nap at the break. I felt.
Sometimes that happens when new energy comes in that you're not used to handling. You need to take it more easily. You need to absorb it with your physical mind out of the way.
Okay. And then I had a hard time with my memory, and
That's a good thing.
okay, I love that. Tell me more about that.
We have no memory at all. Zero. We simply know that we will know what we need to know when we need to know it.
I know.
Memory is created in the present. Doesn't really come from the past.
Yes.
So sometimes, now again, not always. There can be many reasons for this, some positive, some negative. But in general, what we're talking about is the idea that when you live in the moment, you don't need memory. You will know what you need to know in that moment based on the frequency you're at that is then commensurate with the information you need at that moment. That's the way it works.
Okay. And so there was a little bit of fear that came up because I actually was having a hard time driving, and I didn't recognize a few people.
All right. Well, that's all right. And you know, if that happens when you're driving, you can always pull over.
I eventually, because the next day it lasted, so I eventually had my friend drive us home, but I just kept feeling in and out.
That's fine. It's part of the process of reorienting. Remember, to reorient to a new reality, you have to disorient from the other one.
Okay. That's
So you're just in that limbo state of reorientation, attempting to find your compass needle and which way it's pointing again.
okay.
Yes?
Yes.
It's part of the process. It's like shifting gears. You go through neutral to go into another gear, yes?
Yeah.
And in neutral, for a moment, the gears are spinning free.
Right.
That's part of the natural process of transformation and change. Ride with it, flow with it, enjoy it while it lasts. Yes?
Yes. And
It's like a mini vacation. In between parallel reality experiences when they click back into gear.
okay.
Yes?
So basically, your explanation is I was going into allowing new energies and
Yes.
transferring in between
An
parallel
upgrade of
realities.
your own understanding of self, becoming more of who you are. Yes. But sometimes you will go through a little bit of a limbo state to allow that adjustment to click in a little bit more smoothly.
Okay, so it's okay if I don't remember people.
It's okay.
Okay,
Don't
good.
worry about it,
Yeah.
or you actually will know less. Yes?
Right.
Relax,
sense.
and everything you need to know will come to you when it needs to. It's all right. It's all right sometimes, even with what you believe to be your best lifelong friend, I've just blanked on your name. It's all right. I'm going through a process here. It's all right. I haven't forgotten about you. I still love you. But right now, certain bits of information are simply not relevant for me to know right now.
Okay. And there was I was told it was the second most powerful full moon that weekend. Was there anything that had to do with the energy, or can you speak to that?
Well, again, that's a symbolic reflection of what's going on in the collective consciousness on a certain level. It's a big subject. We'll talk about that some other time.
Okay. And then I really loved that you brought up the masculine and feminine archetypes. Could you expand a little bit more on each archetype and what they represent?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
I love you.
Our love to you as well.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
First, I just wanted to thank you for your role in the expansion of my consciousness. So thank you for that.
We thank you for all of your roles in the expansion of ours.
I had received synchronicities for Maui for a few months. So I went to Maui last month.
The heart chakra of the planet.
Yes, I love it there. And on the night before I went to Haleakala, I saw a face with one yellow eye, and I got the name Carlisle. But if you could help provide clarity on...
If you will excuse us for a moment, even though it doesn't translate through the channel's body, we are laughing.
What's funny?
Carlisle is a funny being. Kind of a trickster energy that is native to the islands.
Okay.
You are dealing with, again, the idea of the expression of a nature spirit, an aspect of the collective consciousness of your reality expressing itself in a certain way that is kind of tricking you toward more of yourself. Very playful kind of energy.
Okay. The trickster has been coming up a lot for me in oracle cards.
Well, there you go. You see,
Okay.
you have your own synchronicity with it.
Yes. And I feel oddly called to Maui in...
Oddly?
Okay, I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And there's something about the hybrid children where I feel like I'm going to have a role with that, but I don't understand why that nugget of information is being given to me this early.
Because Maui will be one of the sanctuaries for the hybrid children.
So sometimes when I'm meditating, I get faces of what I think are hybrid children. Like
Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not.
Okay. So is that something I'm opening up more to? Should I be connecting with them?
Can't you answer that question yourself?
I want to, I guess is the answer.
Well, it's not about wanting to. It's about, are you doing it or aren't you doing it?
I'm not currently doing it.
Why not?
I have many excitements at the moment, and I'm having...
But you act on the one that is the highest, that you're the most capable of acting on, don't you? Are you following the formula?
I am starting to, yes.
All right, up to you. The idea is to act on the one that excites you the most, that you are most capable of doing something about. If there are more than one that seem to have equal capability to act on, then it doesn't really matter which one you choose, because the self-guiding principle that's built into it will turn you around to the other one if that one isn't the correct one for you at that moment.
I agree with that. I understand that.
Well,
I feel
I'm glad
that.
you agree with the instruction manual of existence.
I think everything's going good, and that's it. Thank you.
You are welcome. Mahalo. Many, many, many in the years to come, because of the splitting of the parallel realities and the subsequent side effects on Earth, will move to Maui. Not sure why you're clapping for that, but just making an observation, that's all.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How you doing?
Perfect, and you?
Really good, actually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I have a lot of good questions. The first one is about the electromagnetic grid of the Earth
Yes,
and the portals that open up.
yes.
And people utilizing those portals for travel.
Yes.
Now,
This
those
will become
portals
more common and more consciously done on your planet in the years to come, although it does happen from time to time, now and then, randomly, and some people that are proficient at this can do that already on your planet, but it's not that many.
You mean proficiently, like with simply with their physical body, activating the whole body system, electromagnetic?
Well, in other words, proficiently in the sense of being consciously aware of where the portals are, when they open, and passing through them.
Yeah. Now, when that happens, my question about that is,
Yes.
does that happen where a person walks through a portal and it's already designated to some extent where they're going to go, or is it?
It can be.
complete-
Some
okay.
portals are like that, and some portals kind of fluctuate.
Okay. So like consciousness plays a big part in it as well, where a person's focused?
Let's look at it this way. Let's talk about it dimensionally.
Yeah.
In one dimension, a portal is a point. In 2 dimensions, a portal is a circle that you can step through. In 3 dimensions, like your reality, a portal is a sphere. And that's also 4th dimensional, because then in time, the sphere moving in time becomes a cylinder, a tunnel, or what you would call a wormhole. Yes?
Yeah.
Then in 5th dimension, it becomes a hypersphere. And a hypersphere means that whatever point you enter will actually be a completely different tunnel to a different location, even though it's all connected to the same sphere. So your world has point portals, it has circle portals, it has sphere portals, it has wormhole portals, column portals, cylinder portals, if you will, and it has metaspheres, hypersphere portals as well. So each of them does a kind of different thing. Wormhole portals in general can be connected between 2 points, and sometimes it can fluctuate. But for the most part, it is the hyperspheres that are connected to multiple points, and depending on how you enter, where you enter, the angle of entry determines where you wind up on the other side.
So does the pineal gland utilize it? Do we utilize the pineal gland
Yes.
as a hypersphere?
The pineal gland is very, very critical for understanding how to navigate the portals and how to sense when they're open and where they go. So the production, the high production in the pineal gland of dimethyltryptamine, DMT, is crucial to reach a certain state of production and a certain vibratory frequency to be able to sense the portals more clearly and exactly what vibrational location they connect to.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Because the energy is basically information telling you
Yes.
what the portal is
Yes.
in detail.
Yes.
Okay.
And that translates strongly when the pineal gland is at a certain frequency based on the amount of DMT that it produces naturally.
Okay. And then with plant medicines,
Yes.
for let's say there's
Sometimes
MAO
that can
inhibitors.
open it up. The teachers that grow from the earth naturally can help open some of that up, yes.
Will that help with opening it up to a prolonged, long-term experience throughout a person's life?
That depends on you. In
Of
other
course,
words,
okay.
remember that what the plant teachers are teaching you is how to recognize that state, but you have to get to a place where you know you can simply recreate that state without the plant teacher. Otherwise, the plant teacher has just become a crutch or an addiction.
Right, because I feel that deep breathing actually activates the DMT more
yes,
than
it does.
anything else I've ever experienced.
It is
with
one of the
plants.
reasons why, this is not something that the channel did consciously, it's one of the reasons why when you experience the idea of this state of our connection with the channel, you hear the breathing change.
Yeah.
It's actually pumping up the production of DMT, so it gives the channel's body more ability for us to utilize it in piercing into different dimensional realms to extract the information that we give to you.
All right, awesome.
It makes the channel a better translation device, a better telephone, in a sense,
Okay,
and a better switchboard.
all right. I have another question.
Yes.
About, you're talking about the hybrid children
Yes.
having certain locations on the Earth
Yes.
to help with the
Evolution of your
Evolution of
planet
the
into
planet.
the 6th hybrid race, yes.
Now, what about other aspects that we've been doing on Earth with our underground bases, our underwater bases, like Pine Gap and underwater bases in Guam area and
Yes,
stuff like
what
that.
about them?
Well, there's a lot of extraterrestrial interaction there, so there
Yes.
is a sense of meshing with humanity, but it's
There
in a
is,
different
but there
way.
are also a number of different agendas going on.
That's true. Yeah. So because we are doing that, but in a different way with different agendas,
Yes.
is there any way of bringing that more to the surface, or is that going to be too much for the collective?
It will eventually come out, but understand also that the different agendas are representative of different parallel realities that will have different experiences.
Okay. And then I have another question about how you guys track time or create calendars. Yeah, because on Earth we actually track time and create
don't.
calendars and stuff.
We don't.
So is it more of
We operate on pure synchronism.
Okay, so it's more like subjective instead of objective of like
Because it is
great-
always subjective.
Okay.
Objectivity, in a sense, is your projected illusion, but it's a subjective point of view of objectivity.
Okay, so it's kind of like the ancient tribes around the planet. Some of them had calendars, but they saw every day as a celebration.
Yes, in a sense, you could put it that way. But again, pure synchronism allows us to simply know that we will be where we need to be, exactly when we need to be there, interacting with exactly who we need to interact with at that exact precise moment. We don't have to plan it.
Okay.
It just happens. Because we are all operating on synchronism. We're all operating in the now. Because everything happens now. But it happens in different versions of now. And by being our true selves, we automatically chart our course through all the different versions of now, and we wind up exactly where we need to be now. Does that help?
Yeah.
Obviously, we understand that there are natural cycles in the universe, day, night, things like that. We obviously can recognize that. If you want to say we're tracking that, that's fine. But we don't really look at it in a time-based way. Because for us, in our reality, it's far different than what you all may think. We're not just a bunch of extraterrestrials walking around on the surface of a planet. In our reality, because of our nature at this point, because we are quasi-physical, we actually experience our world as a multiplicity of dimensional experiences. We are walking through a dream after dream after dream after dream in multiple dimensions in many directions simultaneously.
Awesome. Yeah. More of that. That sounds great.
By following the formula, that's what happens eventually.
All right. Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Yes. Good day to you.
Hello, Bashar.
Andy, you good day.
This is exciting.
Yes.
So, I've noticed in the last several years, I have interacted with strangers that sort of come to me, and it feels exciting, and we have a conversation, and in the next moment we part, and I no longer see that person, like they disappear completely.
Well, then they may have fulfilled the purpose of having met.
Are they someone who teleported here for
Not
a particular
necessarily,
purpose?
no. You all act as reflectors for one another. Sometimes it can be beings from other realms, but very often it doesn't need to be. You all can perform the task of being the reflections that you need at any given moment, so people will come in and out of your lives. If they specifically have a particular reason for being there at that moment, and whatever it is you need to get out of it to become more of yourself, that might also allow them at that moment to get what they need to become more of themselves, then the purpose of the meeting may have been fulfilled and you may never need to see them again. And it can be as simple as that, and they can be just as human as you.
Sometimes it's just a touch, too, I've
Yeah.
noticed.
Again, sometimes it might be something from somewhere else, but not all the time, and probably not even most of the time. Because again, you can all serve that function for each other as reflections of one another. That's what relationships are for. reflecting to each other what you each need to know to become more of yourself, to support the other in that process. Yes? Okay. And it can happen the way you have described it. That may just be your particular way of gathering that information. Sort of like one of your bees flitting from flower to flower to gather pollen. That bee may never see that flower again, but it's got what it needs, so it moves on.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
So you might just be a busy little bee.
Or a hummingbird. I feel like a hummingbird sometimes.
All right, or a hummingbird. Animal of your choice.
Okay. I, in the last several months, have been seeing the number 27.
That's your synchronicity marker then.
What does that mean?
Many times when you have those kinds of numerical synchronicities, they act as road signs or markers to let you know that at that particular moment, you're exactly in the state you need to be in. Stay there. It reminds you, it reflects to you, hey, you're in that state again. Be there.
And what does that have to do with today's topic of 2027?
You tell me. It's your synchronicity. How does it reflect to you? Does it add to the idea that the 27 keeps coming up for you in all sorts of interesting ways to let you know that you are correctly aligned with your path? And that you are exactly where you need to be?
Yes.
Then you have your answer.
That makes sense.
Yes, it does. That's why I said it.
Right. All right. A couple of years ago, I saw a UFO on a very busy street corner.
The UFO was actually on the corner, or you were on the street corner?
Well, I was in a car on the corner of Ventura Boulevard and
And where was the vehicle, the craft? You're calling a UFO.
Yes, it was square shaped, and it was pretty much right above me.
Yes, color?
It was nighttime. I'm not exactly sure, but it did have a
Lights?
ring of light
All
around
right.
it that kept changing color.
All right.
And it was square shaped.
All right. And so?
So I'm wondering who it was and why were they there?
Oh, all right. Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
There is an airport nearby. There are planes taking off right now. Who is on them?
People?
You think we keep track of every single spaceship?
No.
All right. So I can't necessarily tell you who precisely.
Maybe the type of extraterrestrial.
I can't tell you that either, not because I don't know, but because I'm not supposed to.
Why is that?
I can't tell you why. All I can tell you is this. There's no accident in the timing, but the best way to understand it is what kind of a state did it put you in when you had the experience? That's the reason for it. That much I can tell you. So what did you experience in that state? How did you feel?
Excited.
And anything else? Did you feel more connected to realities beyond yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Then that's a signal and a marker for you that that feeling, anytime you remember what that felt like, even if it doesn't feel the same again, you're in that state, and therefore come from that state in all the actions that you take. That's what will serve you best.
That makes sense.
That's how to use it. Yes?
Yes.
In time, we may be able to tell you more specifically who it was, but right now it doesn't serve you to know that, and it is not the appropriate timing for us to divulge that information.
Is that being or several beings, is that related to who rang my doorbell? I think it was either that night or a couple nights after.
No. That's something different as we read your energy.
Can you tell me about that experience?
No. It isn't timing for these things.
Okay. And all right, around the same time as when I saw the UFO,
Yes.
I was in a meditation and I saw myself interacting with an extraterrestrial.
Yes.
And I asked him his name and he said Bashar.
Nope.
That wasn't you.
Nope.
Why did I get the name Bashar?
Because you're familiar with us and the vibration of that being is similar to ours, so you assumed it was us. But it's your own future self. that's connected to our society. So the word Bashar is simply your translation, because remember, we don't have names. Bashar is not my name.
Right.
It's a recognition of a vibration. It's the recognition of what I do, because Bashar simply means messenger. So it was simply saying, I have a message. I'm a messenger. The translation into Bashar is simply what you're familiar with. That's why your brain translated the vibration, I'm a messenger, into the word Bashar. Yes?
Interesting.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's you interacting with your own future self.
I like that.
All right. And that gives you the biggest hint I can possibly give you about the UFO.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, fly away, little hummingbird.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Such a pleasure to communicate with you.
And for us as well to communicate with you.
Thank you. What's my frequency?
Right now, about 145 to 157,000 cycles per second.
Okay. When I
Does
was,
that really tell you anything?
I just think like compared to Jesus and Buddha and then your
Well,
vibration.
Jesus and Buddha were up in the 300,000 cycle per second range because they were truly being more of all that is.
Okay.
None of you are going to be in that range for a little while. You can be, but you're going through processes to recognize the awakening of the Christ consciousness and the Buddha nature within each of you. That's what those messages were all about. You are all Buddhas. You are all Christs, because you are all children of God.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And last month, when I was taking quantum healing with
Yes.
my friend, I started channeling something called Zeus. What is it?
What can you translate as that word?
Felt like E.T. I was almost like felt like dying. I felt like very suffocating, dizzy, and it was.
So you were not used to handling that energy that quickly.
Well,
So it was something saying, hello, I'm here.
right.
We can work together.
Right.
But I can only touch in briefly at the moment because you can't handle this energy yet.
Well, I just let them do whatever. I just let the resistance go, and I started feeling the energy, and they gave me a lot of answers.
Okay. Then you adapted very quickly. It touched in and got you used to the idea of what the energy felt like. You were willing to match that frequency and therefore establish a link and a communication channel. So, congratulations. What do you want to do with that? Now that you have established that link and can access information in the way that you prefer to, how does it excite you to use that ability?
Okay. It's just happened next day too. While I
I
was
didn't ask you that. I asked you, how are you excited to use that ability?
like I'm gonna communicate with them.
All right, you're going to continue to communicate. You're going to continue to understand the answers to the questions that you have. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, and you will do that up to a certain point until you feel you have a deeper understanding of the connection, of the link, and of the information that you're receiving. And then what will you do with that information?
Okay.
What will you do with that information when you have enough?
I apply to my life.
Apply to your life, yes. Anything else? Any other expression that seems right for you?
What? Right? What? Highest excitement? What?
Right
Right.
for you?
Oh, right.
Right
Right.
for you?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Are you excited to be writing?
Yes.
Oh,
Lighting.
you sound so excited.
Lighting. Lighting.
Well, you're not there yet. That's all right. But that may be where it's leading, that you can then bring through information, writing it down in a kind of automatic way, or creating the ideas, penning them down in that way, and going from there. Yes?
Who are they?
I'm not telling you that.
Okay.
But they are, for now, the idea of the muse, inspiration, linking, creating a bridge and a connection for your own higher self to bring through more information in a way that's right for you. Yes?
Yes, sounds very exciting.
It is. Keep going. It will get even more exciting.
Thank you. And another thing is, since last year, I'm working on my self-esteem, self-image,
Yes.
and so I
Yes.
write something like whenever I feel something negative, I write it down and then let it go.
Oh, you write
Write
it
it
down
down.
and let it go.
Let it go. I feel
Writing is already working for you.
Yes, it works.
All right. Well, congratulations.
It really works. And
All right. That's your permission slip. That's what gives your belief system the permission to let go of beliefs that don't work for you. Everyone has a different permission slip.
so every moment I'm brand new.
Repeat that.
Every moment I'm a new
You
person.
are new every moment, yes. Now you say it. Every moment I am new.
Every moment I'm new.
And now you say it. Took a while to catch on.
Every moment I'm brand new. I'm new.
Every moment I am new. Every moment I am new. Every moment I am new. Every moment I am new. Every moment I am new. Every moment I am new. Because you are literally new every moment. Literally a new person every moment. With a new past, as we discussed last night. With a new future every moment. Every change changes your past and your future because it has to all be one historic line in your space-time reality. So every change you make, every time you become a new person, every moment, that new person has to have a new past that makes logical sense in your space-time reality that would have had to happen to create that new person linearly. So you're constantly changing your past and your future from the present, from the now. That's why now is your point of power and why the past and the future are illusions that simply exist simultaneously with you. They're not really in the past. They're not really in the future. They all exist now.
So everything exists now.
Yes.
Future and past are illusion.
Yes.
Why my subconscious seems like holding some.
Because of what you are defining yourself to be now. Because you're creating the illusion of continuity that says, my past is real and affects me now. So I will hold on to things, beliefs that I don't prefer, because I believe more strongly that I have no way of letting them go because my past affects my present, when that's not necessarily true. You have to change your belief about your relationship to time, because time is an illusion.
Right. Right.
I know.
Right. But
But
but sometimes I cannot handle it.
yes, you can. It's just that you have a belief that you can't. Remember, negative beliefs don't want you to let them go. So negative beliefs will reinforce the idea that you can't handle letting them go in order to not let them go. You have to see through that as a trick of the negative belief. Again, it's not malicious. It's just the way they're designed, because all beliefs are designed to perpetuate themselves. If they weren't designed to perpetuate themselves, you wouldn't have a physical experience. You would never be able to believe anything is true. But you have to understand that the negative beliefs will use all sorts of other negative aspects in order to get you to not let them go, to perpetuate themselves. In other words, positive beliefs are telling you what's true about you. Negative beliefs are telling you what's not true about you. So they have to work harder to get you to believe what's not true. And they will do that by using such things as fear, or the belief that you can't handle something, or many other devices. But you have to understand that's just what they do, so you won't let them go. The fear When it grows, the more fearful you become. That tells you that the negative belief has to work that much harder because it realizes you're getting close to letting it go. So the more afraid you are, the closer you are to letting the fear go. That's the trick. You have to see through that and just keep going.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's enough for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
My friend.
That's enough for now. Thank you.
My friend.
That's enough for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good day, good day. We will now deliver the monologue for the transmission that we have called A Step Along the Way. This is for the purpose of allowing you more efficacy, more ability to stay in the moment along your path, on your journey, and allow you to have a clearer understanding of how your higher mind, your passion, and synchronicity work together to allow you to take the steps necessary for you to navigate through the different parallel versions of Earth that are more and more reflective of the version that you prefer to experience, or the versions, more precisely, that you prefer to continue to experience as you shift moment to moment to moment. The primary point of this particular transmission and title is really about learning to relax into the moment, of letting go of any insistence on the concept of a goal that you're attempting to achieve, a place you're attempting to get to, some destination out in the so-called future. Not that you will not experience the idea of outcomes and goals and destinations, but these things are experienced along the way. In other words, please remember this. Your journey, no matter how you experience it, whether in physical reality, whether in non-physical reality, your journey never ends. There is no ultimate place you are attempting to get to. If you understand that everything that's important is happening right now, nothing more important will ever happen, as you say, in the future. It will just be a different thing, equally important to whatever's going on right now. You can begin to relax into the now, into the moment, understanding that as your passions are presented to you, in terms of whatever form they come in, by synchronicity, that these experiences, the willingness to act on the things that contain more passion, more excitement, more curiosity, more attractiveness, are simply in the moment, there in that form to get you to take an action that represents the step you need to take at that moment. As we have said before, just because your excitement presents itself in a certain way, in a certain format, doesn't mean that that format always has to come to fruition. Sometimes it might, but many times it might not. At least not in the sense that that will be the next thing that manifests. Again, it may, but it may not. So the idea is to start really looking, start really connecting to the things that present themselves to you as opportunities to act on that are representative of your passion, looking at them only as a step along the way on your journey. Nothing in that sense is the ultimate goal. The only thing that is truly, if you want to call it a goal, the ultimate goal, is being yourself. And it is the synchronicity and the passion and the higher mind that allows you at every moment to be yourself by giving those things to act on that represent your true vibration, the fullness of your being. As you step from stepping stone to stepping stone on the journey, on the path that you are, it's very important to really pay attention to what is happening right here and right now in every single one of those moments, in every single one of those stepping stones, and really savor it for what it is right here, right now, as simply a step along the way, no matter how exciting it may be. Never assume, never insist that that particular presentation, that particular experience has to be an ultimate thing, has to unfold in a certain way. It is nothing more than a step on the journey of you being yourself, which is really the entire point of the experience. Yes, they're presented to you in certain ways that are reflective of the personality you have created yourself to be, of the way in which you designed, so to speak, your theme to be this person, this personality, this reflection, this aspect of all that is. Yes, of course it is. And that can make it seem as if this personality must achieve this thing in this particular way by this kind of time, or that something has gone wrong. But this exercise, this idea, and the meditation that will follow in this transmission this day is all about really relaxing off of that idea and really just allowing it to flow through you in the moment, no matter how it comes to you, no matter how exciting, how passionate you may be about something, not to lose the passion, but not to rigidize it, not to structurize it in a way that insists that it must unfold in a certain way, because you really don't know, you really do not know exactly why it came to you in the way that it did. And this is why we are explaining to you that no matter how it appears, no matter how much energy might seem to be behind it, no matter how much synchronicity there may appear to be, it is simply a step along the way on your journey of being yourself, which is really the only goal. Everything else is an expression of that goal, but are not the goals themselves. The idea of coming to fruition in anything that excites you is all well and good, and many times it will happen. But even coming to fruition in a particular way that the passion may have presented itself to you is not the ultimate goal. It is just another step along the way, another part of the overall experience of your unending journey of being yourself, of discovering yourself from a new point of view, of just existing in the moment, savoring the moment, experiencing the moment, being you as fully as you can in every moment with everything that's presented to you, no matter how it looks. Whether you prefer it or not, it's there for a reason. Use the moment. Use it up fully. Dive into it. Stay with it. Don't ignore it. Don't attempt to get beyond it. Don't rush forward trying to get somewhere else. This moment, whatever is happening in it, is the key to really experiencing the fullness of your journey, so that you are really validating and savoring every single stepping stone, every single one. For if you're not using it fully, then it's not there to support you to get to the next stepping stone. You create gaps that you cannot get past if you don't really fully appreciate what's going on at this particular moment on your journey of being you. It's very important for you to focus on the idea of being you. You may not always know what that means, but you will find out. You will discover it if you just relax into the understanding that everything that comes to you is simply just another step along the way. It's not an ultimate goal that needs to be achieved. It's not a place you have to hurry to get to. There is no clock. You're not running out of time for anything that's relevant in your life. If you stay in the moment and just experience everything that comes as another step along the journey of being you, then everything will unfold in perfect timing, and you can feel yourself going with the flow of your truth, sailing along smoothly as you go from step to step to step, knowing that every step is just another step along the way of the journey of being who you truly are. So begin to breathe and relax into this idea that there's nothing more important than the now moment, because it is the now moment and in the now moment that you will discover by your interactions with what's happening at that moment who you truly are. And that's the most important thing you can do, to really allow yourself to move through your journey, to be your journey, and know yourself more deeply, more fully, more truly, and feel the fulfillment of the reflection of all that is and all the potential within you that will unfold, yes, over time, because that's the focus you have. But you will feel the fulfillment as you go, that every single moment has been savored to its maximum, so that you know you have left nothing out, left nothing behind, ignored nothing, that you've paid attention to everything that's there, and truly absorbed everything that has been brought to you at that moment. Because there is nothing irrelevant in this moment. There's nothing irrelevant in this moment. And there's nothing irrelevant in this moment. Every single thing is the orchestration you have agreed to participate in. When we take you through the meditation, we will continue the idea of how to breathe in a more relaxed way into every moment, so that you truly begin to experience your passion, things you do prefer, things you don't prefer, interactions with others, reflections that you may get through synchronicity, everything that comes your way, messages from the higher mind, messages from spirit guides. Whatever it is that's happening, you'll be able to experience it simply more and more and more as another beautiful, orchestrated step along the way of the journey that you are.
Hello, it is so nice to meet you, through the
day.
internet. So honored to be here.
Good day. We thank you for the co-creation.
Yes, thank you so much, and I honor you for taking this time.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Thank you. So my first question is, I do feel like I am one of the beings that have been put on this earth to assist in the paradigm shift that is occurring on the planet at this time.
One moment, let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
The way you frame that disempowers you. You have decided to be here to participate. You were not put here. Do you understand?
Yes. Oh my God.
You decided to do this.
Yes.
Don't remove yourself from your own self-empowerment and the decisions you have made to be of service at this time.
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I start to cry. It's just so true.
Oh, there's nothing to apologize for whatsoever. You are releasing through your tears belief systems that no longer work for you. Remember that when you hold on to a belief or have a particular perspective or definition of something that may be out of alignment with you, it creates a constituent within your body that is chemically oriented. And when you let go of that belief, you have to wash the chemical constituent out of your body, which most often happens through the idea of tears. So tears very often are the releasing of the chemical component of beliefs that you're letting go of.
Okay, amazing. So yes, let me already rephrase that. I put myself on the earth at this time to assist with this amazing paradigm shift that is occurring on the earth at this time. And so I want to do this by way of like making videos and putting myself out there and allowing, people
that
to
is
hear
your
my
expression of your passion, that is your expression of your passion, then by all means act on it, again with no insistence or assumption of the outcome.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Is there something holding you back from doing that?
There was in the past, actually. So funny you bring this up. My family, they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were. And I actually have someone in the household that is still a Jehovah's Witness. So if they were to witness any of this happening, I would get kicked out of the house. Yeah.
Well, is there something wrong with that?
Getting kicked out. Well, in my egoic mind, it's like, oh my gosh, that can't happen. Where am I going to go? These kinds of things.
Well, I guess you'll find out. I'm not saying you have to share the idea with someone who you know is not vibrationally interested or compatible with your ideas. That's fine. But we would encourage you to pay attention to whether that is actually placing a limitation and a restriction on yourself for being able to do what you know you need to do as you. So don't take responsibility for someone else's reaction. I'm not saying you have to do things intentionally to hurt them, but the idea is that you're not responsible for their choice of reaction to something that is really your truth. And you're also, in some sense, then, shall we say, depriving them or preventing them from actually knowing who you are. So even though they may react in a negative way, you have to decide whether it's appropriate or not to actually be who you are in their presence. And if you find that you're not being who you are out of a fear-based idea, then you're not being who you are anyway.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Well, either way, yes, I do still want to share this. It's going to be out there for them to see. And if they see it, well,
Then they see it.
I'll just have to see. Yeah, I'll just have to see what happens. But
Yes.
my
But whatever
question-
it is that happens, you have to stay in your center to know what is your truth while still allowing them to have what they believe to be their truth. And you don't have to dive into or be engulfed by the idea of conflict, because you know that synchronicity will give you what you need and that you'll be just fine and that you can have compassion toward them, recognizing that they're going through their own process of understanding what is true and not true for them, even though they may be resistant to finding that out, even though they may not have been brought up to understand the tools that they need in order to do that. At least you're giving them the option to choose something else by letting them know there is another path, but they don't have to choose it. Nevertheless, at the same time, you at least get to be you.
Yes.
And so put it out there, see what happens.
I will. I definitely will. I definitely feel like this is something I need to do. I have actually I haven't really lived my life for myself. It's really only recently
All
that
right.
I've
Do
discovered
remember this, very important. If you have a gift to give, there is someone waiting to receive it, or you wouldn't be excited about giving it because that would be pointless. So that means the longer you take, not blaming you, it's not a negative, just explaining to you the idea. The longer you take to give those gifts, the longer you make someone waiting to receive them wait. Do you understand?
Yes, let's not. I won't make him wait anymore. I'll definitely.
All right.
But my question for that was actually like, how do I reach like people with my information? How can I go about helping them change their lives, like with these videos?
No. You go about sharing the information in whatever way you can, putting it out there in whatever way is correct for you. What they choose to do or not do with it is none of your business, because you don't know how it will affect them. You don't know what they do and don't need to get from you. They will decide whether or not to change their lives. That's not your decision to make. All you can do is provide them the option to change their lives, the opportunity to change their lives in ways that might be more beneficial for them. You have absolutely no business assuming that they have to pay attention to you. You will reach the audience you need to reach. You will not reach the audience you don't need to reach. So why worry about it? Just be yourself and know for a fact that whether you ever know how you're doing it, someone is benefiting from what it is you gave. You may never know who is benefiting or how they're benefiting, but you will be giving them the option instead of depriving them of the option, and just keep doing what you do, knowing that you're benefiting someone. That's all you need to know. Whatever someone does with it is not your business.
I understand. Yes.
All right.
So much yes to that. So much shadow work I probably need to do with this too.
And that's fine, because that's the point also of your journey, is to know yourself, to really dig down and find out what belief systems don't work for you. Remember, there's no absolute right or wrong way. You're an infinite, eternal being. There's no hurry. Just do what it is that seems correct for you at the moment. Learn from whatever happens from the result of those actions or choices, and then decide again whether you want to continue in the same direction or whether you want to change your belief about something. It's up to you. This is the greatest power you all have, the freedom to choose. There's no contradiction coming from creation itself. The idea is that you are given that free will to make a choice so that you can be the unique individual that you really actually are, as a reflection of the infinite, of all that is.
Yes, I feel like that's been a really big lesson in my life, to be honest. Thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome. Good day.
Likewise.